Hi everyone and welcome to or back to the Yoga Corner. I'm Kira and today I have a class for all of the inflexible people out there. Yes, that's right, you do not need to be flexible to do yoga. And in fact, whenever I ask for class requests or things that you'd like to see on the channel, classes for people who are not flexible is one of the most highly requested things. And I feel a big connection to this because although I would describe myself as somewhat flexible now, when I started yoga a few years ago, I could not touch my toes, couldn't straighten my legs in downward dog, I couldn't do loads of the things that I think we all wrongly assume you need to be able to do for yoga. But actually, the more that I did yoga, the more that I realized actually the only way to build flexibility is by repeating those movements over and over and over again until eventually you see some progress. And also, even if you never reach that point of having a straight leg and a forward fold or being able to hug your feet when you're in like a seated fold or something like that, you can still have a really fulfilling and wonderful yoga practice that is just as good as someone who is, touching their toes, putting their feet behind their head, all things that I also can't do. So without further ado, this is a class for anyone who isn't very flexible, doesn't feel super confident going to yoga classes, but wants to start practicing yoga. And with flexibility in mind, I also have a few props that you might want to use throughout this practice. So first up, we have 2 blocks. And if you don't have yoga blocks, you could just pick up 2 sturdy books that are about the same size, thinking like the last couple of Harry Potter books or something like that, that's really like sturdy and thick. And then you'll also want a yoga strap. Now, if you don't have a strap, you can also use a belt, the string from your dressing gown, even like a long shoelace, just something that is long enough to hook around the end of your leg, really. And so with those things in mind, let's get started with our practice. We're going to get started today in a lying down position and we'll want our strap for the first bit of this practice. So just pop your blocks off to one side, we won't need them for a little bit. And then we're going to come to a lying down position with the knees bent, back coming flat onto the ground, and we'll just take a couple of moments just to settle into the space. Allow yourself just to relax. Notice if you're holding on to any tension in the upper body, particularly around the shoulders. And maybe you'd like to turn your head gently left and then right, just releasing out any tension from the back of the neck as well. We'll take a nice big deep breath in together, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling just gently through the nose. One more time, just like that, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the nose. All right, so moving on to our first stretch, we're going to be using our strap. Left leg is going to come long on the mat, just extend it down so that you're laying down with that left leg. And then you're going to bend through the right knee. You might need to lift the shoulders up, and you're going to want to loop the strap around the base of your right foot. Gently extend that strap long in your hand, and you can just take hold of that all in the right hand. You don't need to hold onto it with both hands. Think about flexing the right toes towards the calf so that you're really pulling the toes back in towards the body, and then gently start to lift that leg up to the sky. You might find that you can't get very far or that you can't straighten out the knee. That is completely fine. You can use the strap to help guide that leg in, but if you start to feel any intense feelings in the back of that hamstring, just gently stop and pause and allow yourself to settle where you are. So take a couple of moments, find your stretch position. What feels stretchy to you might not feel stretchy to me, might feel super stretchy for someone else. Just give yourself a couple of moments to settle in and notice where your stretch point is. And we'll take a nice deep breath there. Exhaling completely. After you've stayed in that position for a couple of breaths, you might find that you start to feel a bit more space and that you can use this right arm to guide the right leg a little bit closer in towards the body. You might like to keep the left hand on the left hip and make sure that's not lifting up off the ground. We'll just take one more deep breath here. As we exhale, we'll gently release that right foot down to the ground, and as we do, we can just unhook it from that strap. Really good. Just put the strap off to one side for a moment and allow the right leg to rest next to the left leg, taking a moment to settle in. Exhaling. And then gently we'll keep that right leg on the mat and we'll take that strap around the base of the left foot this time. Remembering you can lift your shoulders off the ground just to get it around the base of that foot. Extend that left leg up to the sky, only going as far as feels comfortable to you. Right hand can come to the right hip and you hold both ends of the strap in that left hand. Leg does not need to be straight here, but what we do want to see is those left toes pulling back towards the left leg. So you're really flexing that foot and keeping the leg active. Finding your stretch point and allowing yourself to stay there for a moment. Notice if you're really tensing with the upper body as you try to pull that leg in. And if you are, just gently soften the shoulders and then keep that leg nice and active. Take a deep breath in. And a full exhale. With your next inhale, maybe you've got space to gently allow that leg to travel further towards the body. If not, that's totally fine as well. Taking one final deep breath here. And exhale, we gently soften that left foot down to the ground, releasing. Really good. Unhook the foot out of that strap. And allow yourself to lie down for a moment, softening the shoulders, relaxing through the body. Taking a final deep breath here. And exhaling completely. We're going to hug the knees into the chest and just bring the hands onto the backs of those legs. We're going to start to rock and roll along the spine, building up some momentum. Take as many rocks and rolls as you need. And then we're just going to come up and find a seated position. We're going to be finished with the strap here, so you can just chuck that off to one side. And then once we've found our seated position, we're just going to take a nice deep breath. Inhale to lift the chest up. And as you exhale, we're going to fold the body forwards over those crossed legs. Bring the palms down to the mat in front of you. Maybe you can allow the forearms to rest on the ground. That might feel like too much of an intense stretch. So just take whatever feels best to you. But keeping those palms flat on the ground, maybe you can allow the head to be heavy, softening down. You might feel this stretch really intensely in the outer hip there on your right leg. So we'll take a nice deep breath in. Embrace that feeling. And with your next inhale, gently walk the hands back towards the body, lift the chest up. We're going to switch over the cross of our legs. So if your right leg is on the inside, this time switch it round, bring the left foot to the inside, right foot goes outside. And once again, we inhale here, nice tall spine. Exhale, we walk those hands forwards and gently soften. Might feel a little bit strange having the legs cross the opposite direction, so just try to embrace any sensation that you might be feeling. Allow the body, the upper body especially, to be heavy. Taking a nice deep breath in. And exhale completely. Inhale, we lift the hands back towards the body, gently lifting the chest. Really nice, guys. We're going to roll over and find our hands and knees next, taking our time as we get into our tabletop position. As always, we want to make sure that hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, and we want to spread the fingertips nice and wide to think about giving ourselves a nice, strong, stable base. Really nice. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and as you do, we drop the belly, lift the chest, open the heart. Really nice. As you exhale, we reverse, and this time we tuck the chin to the chest and curve through the spine. Inhale, drops the belly, lifting the chest, opening the heart. Exhale, we round chin to chest. Really nice. Take that one more time. Inhaling, dropping the belly, opening everything up. And exhale, we gently round the spine. Nice arch through the back. Really good. Okay, gently find a nice neutral spine. I want you to look down at your fingertips. We're going to be finding our first downward dog, and often the place that we feel our downward dog is in our hamstrings, where we're often the most tight. And so it can be easy to forget about the hands entirely because the brain automatically goes to the place where it feels the most tension. So before we even get into that position, let's give ourselves a nice strong foundation. Think about spreading the fingertips as wide as you can. Really use the hands to give yourself a strong, stable base. And think about pushing the base of the fingers into the mat, especially the base of the thumb and the index finger. You might be able to rotate the arms slightly so that the eyes of the elbows start to face forwards a little bit more, giving you a nice strong hold through the arms. And then with our next deep breath in, we're going to tuck the toes and gently start to peel the hips up to the sky, moving into that first downward dog. Really good. Looking back towards your legs, I want us all to take a bend in the knees. As we move through the practice, you might find that you can straighten the legs out a little bit further, but for this first downward dog, let's all bend those legs. Let's look back into the space between our feet, finding a nice central point to focus our attention, and then think about pushing your chest in that direction. We're not aiming for the chest to touch the thighs or meet the legs or anything like that, but we just want to keep the chest moving in that direction so that we keep the spine nice and long. Really good. And then one final cue, we want to think about lifting the hips up. Legs don't need to be straight and we don't need to have the heels touching the ground, but we do want to think about lengthening the legs by lifting the hips up to the sky. Really nice. If your downward dog feels really tight in this position, then just take a moment to pedal the legs, shifting the weight from one foot to the other, bending through the knees and gradually just allowing your legs to warm up into this posture. I often find that any stiffness can be alleviated just by taking some gentle movements like these pedals. So give yourself a moment to see how that feels for your body. We'll take a nice deep breath in and then slow it down. Really good. Okay, with our next inhale, we're going to start to walk the hands back to meet the feet. We're going to come all the way to the back of the mat, finding our first forward fold. As we find that first fold, again, I invite you to bend the knees as deeply as you like. Unlike in our downward dog, we actually do want the stomach to come towards the thighs here. So you can really think about using those legs as a shelf for the chest and the stomach, resting the upper body on the legs as you fold as deeply as you can. There's no point in having completely straight legs if you can't allow the upper body to relax, because then you're just creating so much tension in the back chain of the body and not really reaping any of the benefits of the stretch. So just allow the head to be heavy. You might like to give it a little shake out left and right, releasing some of the tension in the back of the body. And just allow your exhale to bring you as deeply as you can into this fold. I always like to use my first forward fold as an opportunity to take a ragdoll pose. So you can take hold of opposite elbows and gently sway the body out from left to right, releasing tension as you move. Really nice. Take one more breath there in your ragdoll. And as you exhale, just gently soften the fingertips back down to the ground. With your inhale, we're going to lift up halfway, bringing the hands to the shins and lengthening the spine as we go. Exhale, soften the chest down, forward fold. And with an inhale, we push through the feet and reach through the hands as we inhale, lifting all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands come down to the heart center, pausing at the tops of our mats. Really nice. We're going to take a moment here at the tops of our mats to take a nice side stretch. So inhaling, we reach the hands up to the sky. And as you exhale, we're all going to bend with the hands meeting above the head to the left side of the room. So really arc through the side body and reach the hands over to that left side. Keep the feet nice and steady. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, move through center. Really good. Inhale. Exhale, we move to the right this time, arcing through the side body, lengthening all the way over to the right side of the mat. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, lift up through center. Really nice. With our next inhale, we reach a little higher, maybe looking up towards the hands. And exhale, we hinge from the hips and fold the body down. Really nice. Inhale lifts us halfway, hands to shins. And exhale, we fold down, really good. Going to keep the hands on the ground for a moment. Your right foot is going to stay exactly where it is at the back of the mat. And you're going to gently walk forward with the hands and bring the left foot with you as you step that left foot up towards the top of the mat. Gently soften the right knee down to the ground and release those right toes. This might be where you find your blocks helpful. So you want to put one block on either side of your left foot. And you can use those blocks just to lift the ground a little bit higher. In our low lunge, we want to make sure that the knee is above the ankle, so we've got a nice alignment, a right angle coming through that left leg. But we also want to keep the chest nice and open, and that can be really difficult if you're reaching down for the ground and you can't quite get it. So the blocks offer you a few different heights. You can either go for that lowest height that just brings the ground a little bit higher, or if it feels more comfortable to you, you can lift them all the way up and just gently lift the chest. It means you've got the stability of having the hands on the ground, but you also have that nice lengthening through the back of the body because you're not reaching too far forwards. Once you've got that stability through the blocks, think about relaxing through the hips. So allow them to soften, moving forwards and down, really releasing into this lunge posture. Really nice. We'll take a nice big deep breath in. Exhale completely. One more time, nice big inhale. Exhale completely. You might like to keep the blocks as they are, but I think it's easier if you have them on a lower setting for this next one. And one of the things that I find the most helpful for increasing flexibility is gentle, repetitive movement. So we're going to find a half split flow. You might recognize this from some of our other classes because I do like this movement series. It's very nice just to get into the back of the hamstrings. So with an inhale, we look up, we open the chest. With an exhale, you can keep the hands on the blocks if you need. You start to straighten out the left leg, lift the toes, and fold the body forwards. Just having those blocks elevating the ground just makes it slightly easier to surrender into that fold. Inhale brings us forward, low lunge, really nice. Exhale, half split, peeling that leg back and softening the chest down. One more time, inhale to lift through the chest, lengthening through the front of the body. And exhale, really nice. Final time, we find that half split. Keep the toes pulling back towards the body. Soften the chest down, nice big deep breath in. Exhale completely, see if you can surrender a little bit further into that fold. And inhale takes us forward, really nice. Go ahead and move those blocks off to the front of the mat for a moment. We're going to push the weight through the hands, tuck those back toes under and lift the back foot away from the ground. Plant the hands flat on the mat and we're going to be stepping back to our downward dog. Left foot steps back to meet the right. As it does, we lift the hips up to the sky. Remember, we can bend the knees here in downward dog, thinking about lengthening the spine rather than straightening the legs. Keeping that gaze looking back towards the feet as we push that chest in. Really nice. Take a big deep breath in and a full exhale. One more time, nice big deep breath. Exhale completely. And then we walk the hands back to meet the feet, finding our forward fold at the backs of the mats. Folding the chest down, remembering to use the bend in the knees to allow us to find more depth and release in this fold. Doesn't matter where the hands touch the ground, where the legs are straight, but we want to use the knees as an opportunity to soften a little bit further. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale completely. Inhale, we lift the hands to the shins, lengthen the spine, nice flat back, really good. Exhale, we fold the body down. Inhale to sweep the hands all the way up to the sky, nice and tall. Exhale, hands come down to the heart center, really good. Deep breath in. Full exhale. Inhale to reach the hands up to the sky, nice and tall. And exhale, hinge from the hips, fold all the way down, really nice. Remembering you can bend those knees as much as you need. Really good. This time with the feet, your left foot is going to be staying exactly where it is at the back of the mat. You're going to start to walk the fingertips forwards, and with it, the right foot steps up towards the front of the mat. Once that right foot steps up, you can release the left foot down, release those left toes, and if you found them useful on the other side, you can grab your blocks and pop them just on either side of that right foot, allowing you to lift through the chest. Really nice. Taking a moment to check in, make sure that right knee is on top of the right ankle. Use those blocks to lengthen the spine. And as you lift up through the upper body, see if you can find a bit more release through the lower body, sinking down through the hips and really feeling that stretch all the way into the lunge. Really nice, guys. We'll take a nice deep breath in. Exhale completely. Bringing the blocks to whatever height you find the most helpful in our half split flow. We're going to find a bit of gentle repetitive movement on the right side. Inhaling here in our low lunge. And exhaling to start straightening the right leg, peeling those right toes back and softening the chest down towards that right leg. Inhale brings us forward, lengthening the spine as we lift low lunge. Exhale, we release, half split, soften through the chest. Really nice. One more time. Inhale to lift through the chest, nice and long through the back of the body. And exhale, soften and surrender. Think about softening the chest down towards that right knee. Allow the upper body to relax. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. And inhale brings us forward, really nice. We can move those bricks off to one side now, taking a moment as we inhale into our low lunge. Exhale, we plant the hands firm on the ground, tuck those left toes under, and then we're going to step the left foot forward this time to meet the right at the front of the mat. Really nice. Take an inhale as we lift up halfway. Exhale to soften into our final forward fold. Really allow the upper body to be heavy. Feel free to take your ragdoll if that felt like a nice movement to you at the beginning of our practice. Really just move intuitively for a moment, thinking about whatever movement you choose, using that to give you some release. Inhale to lift up halfway, hands to shins. And exhale, soften, forward fold. Really good. Push through the feet. Inhale to sweep the hands up to the sky, lifting tall. And exhale, hands come down to the heart center. Pausing there and taking a moment to reflect on your practice. Knowing that flexibility is something that comes with time and with just continual dedication to your practice. If this felt like a really challenging practice to you, just know that in a few weeks this will feel a lot easier. So just stick with it and enjoy the practice as you go. Hope you enjoyed building some flexibility with me today. I hope to see you again in another class very soon. Namaste.